As an organization, we're all about real life, the chaos, the beauty, the pain, the suffering, the joy, and we immerse ourselves in it daily now that we're living in Kitale, Kenya. We live and work among the people of Kenya. Our time is spent in Kenyan communities and with Kenyan families. Every day, we see the kids who live on the street, and we spend Sunday mornings in the dump where they live, mentoring and loving on those kids. Each day in our medical clinic, we witness illnesses that can be easily cured in the West. In fact, so easily cured, you don't even see them anymore. But that's the West. You know, it is possible to turn off your emotions and just do the work. But we believe that allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough to be affected by the crisis we see is crucial. Think about this. What causes you to suffer? When's the last time you suffered? Let's say physically. When's the last time you had a 1-inch sliver in your finger or a bee sting? Or emotionally, having experienced the pain of a tragic death of a loved one? Maybe you've just lost a job, or perhaps it was through bankruptcy. Your friends and others will encourage you. They will say, this is just a season. This too will pass. But what if it didn't? What if that bee sting happened every day for the rest of your life? What if someone you love died every day? What if the suffering never ended? This is a place where most people in Kenya live. So for us, the ones who create movement, feeling that suffering inside of us can potentially birth some sort of action that is meaningful and changes the situation that causes pain and suffering. That you engage, that you do something about the suffering is what movement is all about. Moving from a life of sympathy to a life of compassion. Movement creates resistance in the way things always were. It creates the power needed for real change. And real change creates legacy. That is what the work in Kitale, Kenya is about. It's about allowing yourself to be affected by the suffering of others so that you do engage and do something to change that suffering. Our secret is that we know amongst the suffering we experience genuine community and real connection. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable to the crisis is also allowing yourself to fall in love with the people. The ultimate dream for our kids is that they become history makers. Kids are not garbage to be thrown on the street when it becomes too hard to care for them. They're not commodities. When given love, they can become history makers. In the West, we don't see abandoned children on the streets. It's not naive to think that it's possible for the streets of Kenya to also be free of abandoned children. People, past and present, have had the audacity to dare change the world. Our kids can become those people. Today, we see them becoming the doctors in our clinic. We see them having careers in the government and being the start of the political change that is needed from the top down to end child abandonment. The beauty is, it's not about me or Francine. It's about people that are rising up and saying, I want this kind of world for children. That's the movement. We have foundations and businesses who write large checks right down to students selling cookies for us. They're all part of the legacy we're working to create. The people that help us do so with love and enthusiasm. That includes our donors and our teams that come to Kenya to work with us. They are as passionate about the children, the clinic, and providing clean water as we are. They're the people that love to give hugs to kids, that love to see the sick healed, that aren't afraid of getting their hands dirty, not afraid to feel the suffering. That's why Fran and I come to Canada each year, to find people like that. The ones that know what they can give to help bring about this movement. Becoming part of this movement is what will create legacy. We're not asking people to do things they can't. We're looking for people that know what they can do and love to do it. It's never a matter if we can or cannot. It's always a matter if we will or will not. We're not asking you to write a check larger than your capacity. We're asking you, what will you do to make a change? What gifts, what abilities do you have to contribute to this movement? And you know, this movement, it isn't about causes, it's people. So I want to thank you very much for joining the Kitale Legacy.